brown grocery bags or paper bags. I had to buy these special ones because they're a little bit longer. It's the type of thing when you go into a liquor store back in the day and they package up liquor so you walk out and you don't look like you're a drunk. I use this little mirror to check the light to make sure that the light's green. I also have 2 cameras and an HD monitor right there. It's a lot of stuff, guys. Okay, a lot of people want to know when I'm creating these YouTube videos, can you really trust the blind tastings? I'm actually getting ready to shoot a blind tasting video, so I want to show you the whole process of what goes into it. Right now, we're going to shoot a video based on the wines of Bulgari and Tuscany in Italy. Sometimes it takes a long time to even prepare this. I depend on samples 100%. What happens with this set right here, I have 6 wines, and it's taken me nearly 6 months to put this blind tasting together because you have to work with importers, distributors, wineries. You have to work to make sure that the logistics are right, that I actually get the wines. I was waiting for 6 months just for one wine to complete the set. It was incredibly frustrating, but now we have it. I love doing these blind tasting videos because I learn just as much as you do. I also am able to chop these up into shorts, TikToks, Instagram Reels, and produce a lot of content from them. Sometimes I have to be honest, even though I love doing them, I feel like they're a little bit underappreciated. I don't know anybody on YouTube that does the amount of blind tasting videos that I do. I also hear a lot of comments like, oh, you should get somebody to help you. I'm a one-man show. I do this all by myself. If you're going to hire somebody, it's going to cost money. And right now, the channel's still a startup. Before I start the blind tasting videos, I do know where all the wines are from because I'm the one that sources them, reaches out, trying to put this video together. I know some people suggest a double blind tasting, but that means that you need an assistant. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. So first of all, before even preparing to shoot, I usually have to go on the internet and research small fine details about these regions that maybe I would have missed out on. A lot of references I use are things like Wine Searcher, Robert Parker's The Wine Advocate, Venice has some great information, Jancis Robinson's Wine Grapes, Jancis Robinson's The Oxford Companion to Wine. Like Bulgari, for instance, one thing I didn't know, when the DLC was formed in the 80s, it was for white and rosé. I think it was formed in 83. It wasn't until 1994 that Bulgari approved red wines in the appellation. Before, wines like Sassicaia or Nolaya were labeled simply as Vino di Tavola or Toscana IGT. Okay, so we have the wines here. I did all the research that takes sometimes days, especially if I have to learn more intricate details. Sometimes I know the regions pretty well and I can go strictly off of memory. So the things that I'll need to prepare for this blind tasting. Number 1, I'm going to need these plastic cups, and I'll need my Coravin. What happens is I Coravin these wines, just a small tasting pour, into these cups. I'll also need brown grocery bags or paper bags. I had to buy these special ones because they're a little bit longer. It's the type of thing when you go into a liquor store back in the day and they package up liquor so you walk out and you don't look like you're a drunk. And then this time of year, it is the summer and I'm shooting this, it's gnat season, so I need these cards. And what I do is when I put the wines in them, I cover them up so gnats don't fly in, because once gnats or flies get in the wine, you get this weird off-putting aroma, which really, really stinks. Really stinks. Even before I get ready to shoot the video, I always have to check the lighting, and it's insane. I have my key light here. I have a fill light coming in to fill my face. I have 2 accent lights in the back, an aperture back there, and I have an aperture bulb in the lamp back there. And now I just added a 5th light to the setup, a hair light. I'm not using it right now, but I'll use it when I shoot the actual video. I have to make sure the mics work. Right now, I'm doing a TikTok live while I'm shooting this for you. So that's why I have 2 microphones here. I have one hooked up to my camera, one hooked up to my phone. And then I also have a boom mic up above, and I have to make sure that's working. So even before I shoot, I use this little mirror to check the light to make sure that the light's green, the microphone is working. I also have 2 cameras and an HD monitor right there. And then on top of that, I gotta edit everything, which can take hours. It's a lot of stuff, guys. It's a lot of stuff to create these YouTube videos. Oh boy. I will set all these wines out with the cups, and I already see some gnats out, so this is frustrating shooting videos this time of year. I also have to make sure things like the water pump are turned off so you don't hear this obnoxious noise. If air conditioning is going, I have to make sure that turns off so there's no low rumble. And let's get started. I use the Coravin here. It's because I get sense a lot of wines. I don't want to dump them all out of the time. Sometimes I want to go back and revisit them, and then also I like to retaste them or sometimes give them away or taste them with other people. I purge the needle, take the Coravin right up here. You put pressure, you go straight down. Awesome. And then it's time to Coravin some wines. With Coravin per capsule, I feel like I get about 50 tasting pours out of one capsule. A tasting pour for me is about 2.5 pumps. I let that go 100%. Then I gotta put this on because I don't want the gnats to get in here. Then I'll be super frustrated. Move on to the next wine here. Bulgari is a real interesting region for me. Oh, as I spilled, so I gotta purge the needle again. Bulgari is a really interesting region for me. A lot of people hate on Bordeaux blends in Tuscany, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, but I feel like Cabernet Sauvignon, especially in Tuscany, is a different flair. With the way that Napa Cab has just shot up in price, you can get real value in Bulgari. I mean, I know the wines are expensive. You know, Sassicaia is several $100s, but some of these wines here are pretty affordable. Some come in under the $100 mark. I put 2.5 or 3 pumps into each one, so I know that they will be about equal. These are age-worthy wines. Producers make them like Bordeaux style, so they usually age in wood for 18 months or so. Depending on the wines, like these are Bulgari Reds, these are Bordeaux blends, I think I will let them sit for just a little bit to gain some air because sometimes these wines are tight. I actually sometimes prefer to go with Toscana IGT wines because sometimes they're aged a little bit longer. Since Bulgari has a lot of demand, I find that a lot of times they are released too early because they're released after about 18 months in wood. Put on the market, they sell out. These are wines designed to age, and a lot of times the producers pass that on to you. It's up to you to age them. Shooting this right now, I'm going live on TikTok, is because I have upcoming video podcast series where I have different guests from around the wine world, and to be eligible for me to do that on TikTok, I needed to do at least a 25-minute live TikTok. Now, how does the blind tasting actually happen? How do I set this up? Gotta get these paper bags out, gotta bag everything. I got even new bags out for this one. Sometimes I reuse bags, but they get all crinkled up. But this time, I wanna make sure everything's covered, so when I shoot it, it will be as blind as possible. I have to plan these blind tasting videos when I have somebody around because I need somebody to mix up these wines for me. They are true blind tastings. That's why you see a lot of times on the channel when I do cheap versus expensive wine, sometimes the cheap wine wins. For me, I don't have a horse in this race, but for me, I don't care who actually wins. And yeah, sometimes producers or importers can get upset, but I think it's all about the audience. Okay, I have somebody down here to help me. You're not going to see her face. When you come in, just stand up walking, then nobody will be able to see you. She doesn't want to be on camera. Okay, I'll stand over here. I'm looking the other way. Make sure when you mix those up that you, again, keep those cards on. Or if they fall off, I'll just put them back on. It's just because it's gnat season once again. This is the routine. I usually have to have somebody... I always have to have somebody help me. I never mix up the wines myself. I always have somebody else mix them up for me. So like I said, it can be a true blind tasting. I might need your help setting these up for the frame. Are they, you're done? Yeah. Hold on, let me look. Can you, hold on. I guess you can see. On your right hand, can you move this one over, the far one over? Just a little, okay. That one over just a, oh, and these just like a millimeter, okay? Okay. And we're back. So here we go. We have all the bags set up. What's going to happen next is I'm going to get a glass here. I have a lot of glasses hanging up. I think for this video in particular, I've got a lot of glass comparison videos, and I have one coming up. For this one, I'll use the Spiegelau Bordeaux definition glass. I'm not huge on you have to have a different type of glass for every type of wine. Personally, I like a universal or a Bordeaux-shaped glass for almost everything besides Pinot Noir. I forgot another thing I always need with blind tasting is I need a spit cup. It's early in the morning. When you're tasting a lot of wines, you have to spit. Otherwise, you get tipsy, can cloud your judgment. Also, I need my little notebook. I guess I'll answer some questions I commonly see. How do you know that the wines are blind? Like I said, I don't have a horse in the race. I don't care who wins. For me, I learn just as much from these blind tasting videos as you do, and it's also a great exercise. I also feel like the blind tasting videos I do are kind of underappreciated. I've noticed recently they're not getting as many views. It's really can be frustrating as a creator the way that YouTube or video-based platforms work. Usually extreme things like extremely aspirational wines are the ones that people click on, or the super cheap stuff. I really try to focus on how to drink well in all price categories. I don't really showcase a lot of humongous trophy wines on the channel. Maybe I should do that because then I would get more views. Yeah, let's go into the tasting.